Thanks, Tim. All right. Dr. David Williams, you got the program today.
When I was in Carolina, I believe they had one library, because I did go there a lot. When I joined the Rotary in 1968, everybody looked like this. We don't look like that anymore. I didn't dress up today for Dave McCoy. I'm going to Emily Lambert's funeral. Emily was a Rotary sweetheart, and she was a sweetheart. Those of you that knew her, she was a wonderful person. She was George Finch's daughter. George was one of the original Finch brothers, and she was doing well. She had a massive stroke after hiking in the mountains the day before, and she was a legacy here. Headed up the Brown Finch Foundation, did a lot for schools. But today we have Dave McCoy back. Dave is past district governor, member of the High Point Rotary Club. I have a passion for the foundation of Rotary. It's probably the thing that has interested me the most about Rotary. Nobody knows more about it than Dave McCoy does. Dave is willing to help with any questions we have about Rotary in general. I actually talked to him the week before last. He was at the beach. He took down what I needed, and when he got back, I got the answer. So we're glad to have Dave to come to speak to you about the Rotary Foundation. Dave McCoy.
Appreciate it, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's great to be back. I was here last week, and I'm going to tell you a short, funny story. I didn't tell David Williams that I was coming last week. So when I walked in the front door, David Williams looked up. You should have seen the look on his face. It was one of sheer horror. And so he bounded to his feet, came over to the door, and he said, "You're not speaking till next week." Now, I couldn't leave that alone. I said, "Oh, I thought it was this week." So, but it's good to be back. Thank you for the invitation, David. David's right, the foundation is a passion of his, and it's also a passion of mine. You know, there are a lot of wonderful organizations, service organizations in our community. But there is one difference between those organizations and Rotary, and it's the Rotary Foundation. It gives us the power to do what we do. And I've enjoyed your prayer. In there, Edward Hale. I'm not going to recite the whole thing, but it starts off, "I am one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but at least I can do something." That's what Rotary is about. We come together and accomplish a lot. Things that we couldn't accomplish on our own. As a group, we can. Before I begin, there's something else that I really enjoy doing, and that's recognizing individuals who have had a tremendous impact through their donations to the Rotary Foundation, making a difference. And today, I want to recognize an individual who has become a major donor. Major donor is an accumulated gifts of money over a period of time that equates to $10,000. And today, I would like to have Kim Cecil come forward. She has an extraordinary love of the family. Present you with a crystal, the major donor crystal.
Thank you so very much.
And in addition, a pendant for a necklace and also a pin. And thank you so much for all you do for Rotary, for this club, for the district, and especially the foundation. Kim is also a member of the Paul Harris Society, and that is a group of folks who commit to at least $1,000 per year. I'm going to go into that in a little bit. This club, I'm not going to name them all, but there are 13. And those who are Paul Harris Society members who are present, please raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. David, you've done an extraordinarily good job of securing Paul Harris Society members. We need your assistance around the district.
You do a good job.
But we are, I'm going to go a little out of order here, but we're fortunate in this district in that we have in the zone 17 districts in the zone between Pennsylvania all the way down to South Carolina, Georgia border. We are number 3 of the 17 districts in the number of Paul Harris Society members. What's more impressive, out of 534 districts worldwide, we're number 16. And that to me is amazing. That shows the love of our members for the foundation and what it does. And I'll go into a little bit further detail on how easy it is to become a Paul Harris Society member. Somebody joked with me one time that I am very creative on how to become a Paul Harris Society member. Well, when you're talking about creativity and finances, there seems to be something nebulous about that. Trust me, everything that I do in the creativity mode meets the 4-way test. So, last year, last year was a record-setting year for Rotary, for the Rotary Foundation. For the first time ever, $300 million was awarded in grants. And I think you can probably figure out where a lot of those grants went. It was as a result of the pandemic. So we had a tremendous amount of outflow through these very worthwhile grants. But guess what else was impacted? The income side. Donations were off the past 2 years from a high of $412 million back in 2018 to last year $377 million. Now that's going to bounce back. I'm going to give you a little bit of a scenario with our own Paul Harris Society members. As soon as March of that year hit and everything started shutting down, I got 5 people in our district who were Paul Harris Society members call me on the phone and said, I'm going to have to pull out of Paul Harris Society. And the reason was they were affected in their income. Well, you have to use a little bit of common sense. And I said, I'll adjust, get with Rotary International, cancel your credit card because all of them were on a reoccurring giving. I'll stop that. And I'm not taking you out of Paul Harris Society. I'll roll you over for a period of a year. Because things will change and we want you back. All of those 5 people within 6 months were back in Paul Harris Society. They had a commitment, a desire, and a love for the foundations, and they wanted to come back as soon as they possibly could. So, just to give an idea of how our foundation works, the Rotary Foundation is overseen by trustees. All of them Rotarians, all of them are from around the world. Highly, highly educated, smart business people, and they are very strong in monitoring how they treat the funds of the foundation. To give you an idea, Charity Navigator, for 13 years straight, has awarded, recognized the Rotary Foundation with a 4-star rating. Now, Charity Navigator rates in 2 areas: financial and transparency and accountability. In all 13 of those years, they got 100% in the transparency and accountability. They're always either 100% or about 98, 99% on the financial part. You can't ask for anything better than that. So, basically, the generosity of Rotary's work hasn't been recognized again because of Charity Navigator. Our foundation's annual fund helps pay for local and international projects. Contributions to our annual fund make our humanitarian impact possible. Here's an important thing that makes the Rotary Foundation and Rotary different from a lot of other foundations. It's not just a check writing. We're not writing checks and handing it to somebody. This is Rotarians working with Rotarians. Ideas for grants, whether they're global grants or district grants, come from the club level. It's your ideas that come into play. I'm going to give you an illustrative example with polio. When polio was undertaken by Rotary International back in 1985, sure, we raised a lot of money. But every year, National Immunization Days in India, even though India is polio-free, they're still going in and immunizing the children. They have what they call National Immunization Days. About 20,000 Rotarians from around the world every year go in for a 1-week period. They get their marching orders for 5 days. The 6th day, they go out and do the immunization. And on the 7th day, they go out and do the cleanup. In other words, every child that's immunized, they get a purple pinky. You've heard that phrase. Some of the Interact clubs do purple pinky days. So they get their little finger dipped in purple, and the cleanup crew then goes on the 7th day, house to house, in some of the most remote areas, knocking on doors, and if there's a child without a purple pinky, they get immunized. This is what Rotary does. It's Rotarians working with Rotarians, it's districts working with Rotarians. We don't rely on government. Government isn't telling us what to do and how to do it. All of the ideas for the grants come from Rotary clubs, Rotary districts. Sure, they partner with other organizations. You have some district grants. You have a district grant this year that, so I think it's a recurring grant, but it's where you partner with other community organizations in Thomasville, and that's great. That's great. In 2020-21, we accomplished a lot. Now, here's something that really amazes me. Donors who gave in the $25 to $50 range raised shows that even the smallest gift that we make has a tremendous impact on the foundation. $25 to $50 comes out to $5.1 million. Now, Paul Harris Society, I'm not going to go into that now. Paul Harris Society is a commitment of $1,000 a year. As I mentioned, this club has now 13. A brand new member who I was going to recognize today apparently is doing a little bit of celebration after his victory last night. So we'll take that as another day. I'll be back. In the past, the Paul Harris Society was formed some years back by a past district governor in California. And he did it at the district level. It was not a Rotary program back then. And as word got out into districts around the country, a lot of districts picked up on it. District 7690, this district, did the same thing. And Stuart Fountain was the original Paul Harris Society chairman for the district. And he did a phenomenal job in getting it going. Then in 2013, Paul Harris Society became an official program of Rotary International. And they went from I think they had something like 10,000 Paul Harris Society members when it was taken over by Rotary Foundation. And today, there are over 50, I think it's 25,000 Paul Harris Society members worldwide. And of these members, they're accountable for $35 million in contributions to the foundation. And that's pretty impressive. We have, in this district, we have now 175 Paul Harris fellows. In the past 3 years, we've added 140. There is attrition every year through resignation, through death, or for people who just decide they can't do it anymore. There are a number of ways that you can give to the Paul Harris Society. One is a little daunting in that you sit down and write a check for $1,000 lump sum, or go online and sign and do it through the website of Rotary International. Then there's $250 a quarter. You can do $85 a month. Vast majority of the people do it on a monthly basis, $85. You don't miss it. You don't miss it. I tell the story that I buy a car depending upon the number of cup holders it had, because when I was working, I was on the road every day, traveling back and forth there, all over. And at the end of the day, I would have to empty all 8 of those cup holders of coffee cups. After I left the house in the morning, I would stop at Starbucks and get a large coffee. On the way back home, I would do the same thing. Forget the rest of the coffee. How much had I spent in a month on large coffees at Starbucks? A heck of a lot more than $85 a month. Point being, we have a tendency to waste money. Though at the time I was drinking it, I didn't think it was a waste. But we do have a tendency to waste more than $85 a month. How many times do you look at your credit card bill when it comes in at the end of the month and think, I don't recognize that charge? I do. If you don't remember it, it probably wasn't that important at the time that you made the purchase. There again, an illustrative example where we do have a tendency to waste money. So why not take that $85 and put it to where it is going to do one heck of a lot of good? And a lot of Rotarians now in this district realize that and are signing up. So, this past year also, Rotarians gave over $135 million just to the annual fund, which is $365 million when it goes to the annual fund and also to the permanent fund. Now, the permanent fund, the principal is never spent. It is just the income. And some years back, Rotary Foundation felt that in order to make sure that we continue to have a viable foundation, develop a program for a permanent fund. Now they're calling it an endowment fund. That fund now has $3.1 billion in assets, either in assets and committed money. So that is ensuring that we are going to have a strong future with the Rotary Foundation in doing good in the world. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. If you have any questions, I'll be here afterwards and try to answer them for you. So thank you so much, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is, I know that is just a love that you have for the foundation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
As always, it's wonderful to hear, and I don't like to follow up much, but we'll let you follow up with past district governor David McCoy after the meeting. If you have questions about the